It is now official that Sarah Palin has cost Alaska and the Republican Party a House seat that they have held for 50 years. Sarah Palin has officially lost her race for that House seat. She thought it was her great political comeback, but no, it was just another in a long line of failures that Sarah Palin has suffered ever since she burst onto the national stage. She lost 55% to 45%. Mary Peltola is now going to be the Democratic representative for Alaska's House district. And to make this even a little funnier, Peltola already beat Sarah Palin once this year, right? They had the special election to fill the remainder of the term, and then they had to have the real election for the next term. Sarah Palin ran in both. Sarah Palin lost in both. Peltola won in both. So now this seat that, again, Republicans had held it for 50 years. Now it goes to a Democrat because Sarah Palin is such a horrible person and a horrible candidate. And the best part about this story, too, is the fact that the Republican Party kind of should have known this was going to happen. Polls out of Alaska for many years now have shown that the voters in Alaska do not like Sarah Palin. They view her as a quitter. Earlier this summer when Sarah Palin was running for the, special election, I talked about the fact I read the quotes from the voters in Alaska, the Republican voters in Alaska. They clearly said she abandoned us. We sent her to do a job and she quit on us. Why would we send her back to do a job again? That's the general sentiment among a lot of those Alaska Republicans. And those weren't from polls while she was running. Those were from polls 2 years ago, before she ever thought about running for that House seat. And it's been consistent in polling data after polling data about Sarah Palin in Alaska ever since she quit halfway through her gubernatorial term. So again, this was entirely predictable. The voters of Alaska do not like her. And the Republican Party could have stepped in. They could have done something. They just chose not to because they let arrogance and greed get in the way. And I'm glad they did. Mary Peltola is going to be a hell of a lot better than Sarah Palin. But another thing about this story that gives me just the tiniest bit of hope for the future of the country is that once again we see another extreme hard-right Republican get rejected by the voters. I know it looks like, when we see these, videos of Trump rallies and there's, 10,000 people there. We see the people with all the Trump flags on their cars. We see them all online. They got millions of followers on Twitter and other social media outlets. But when it comes time for the voters to make their decisions, they're rejecting these people. These individuals, Trumpism itself, which is what Sarah Palin now represents, is not as popular as they would have us believe. I think a lot of it is an illusion. That's not to say that it's not powerful, but it sure as hell isn't as powerful as they're trying to make us believe. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.